Luke, how's everyone feeling about the club, obviously after the disappointment on Saturday night?
Yeah, it's really disappointing loss. I mean, we had the game in real good control in the third quarter, and credit to Port Adelaide, they're playing some good footy at the moment. But yeah, there's some things we'll address this week that probably cost us in the end.
What sort of turned it for you in your mind? Why were they able to make that big comeback?
I haven't really assessed the game too in depth at the moment. We haven't had our meeting yet, but yeah, I'm guessing there's a lot of things that went wrong for us and right for Port Adelaide. Obviously, same as last week, we probably didn't kick as straight as what we should have, but that's not the only reason. There's more than that, so we'll find out later today, I'm guessing.
Is there a mental issue there?
Yeah, maybe we're not switched on for 100% of the time, which is one of our focuses, and maybe we lapsed a bit of concentration in that third quarter and allowed them to get a run on. So, like I said, we'll have a look at it again today and see what went wrong.
Is there a mental issue on the kicking for goals, you think, Luke, that the more players miss, the harder they get to kick because the pressure mounts?
Yeah, it's a hard one. You never really know what's going through a guy's mind when he's lining up for goal. We work on goal kicking every week, and nothing's changed the last 2 weeks. I think we've just had 2 bad weeks on game day, and I think the first few weeks we were okay. We weren't great with our inside 50s the first 3 weeks, and our forwards are still making the most of it and keeping us in the game. So, yeah, I'm hoping it's just 2 bad weeks in front of goal and hoping we can turn it around.
What about personally, Luke? Because you strike it better than 50% through your career up to date, and you're 1-5 this year. Is there anything in that for you personally that you can look at?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a hard one. I do work on my goal kicking this year, especially now that I'm 1 goal 5. It's not a great record in front of goal, but yeah, I'm hoping to turn that around. But look, like I said, it's not the main issue why we're losing. There's a lot more stuff going on than just that.
You mentioned the run-ons a bit earlier. As a player out there, how hard is it to stop when an opposition team's really up and going? And what do you guys try to do to hold that momentum?
Yeah, there's several different tactics we have in place to try and stop run-ons. Obviously, it didn't go too right for us on the weekend, but I think as a player, you back your structures in, you back your players in, and you certainly have full faith in your back line. I think we've got some really good guys down there doing some big jobs for us. So, yeah, it's we've got to stay confident and trust in our game plan that when teams get a run on, we can hold up. We weren't able to on the weekend, and it cost us in the end, but it doesn't mean we're losing faith in what we have in place.
When do you start to change things? Is it amongst the players you guys say, all right, we've got to do something now, or do you wait for a message from the coach to structurally change?
No, Woosh leaves a lot of it on us out there as players. If we feel that there's a lot going wrong for us at the time, we can resort to different setups and stuff like that. So it's the ball's in our court as much as it is Woosh.
Has it dented the confidence at all? 1 and 4, and particularly, I mean, losing games from 7 goals in front is a hard thing to come to terms with mentally. Has it affected the confidence of the group at all?
No, I think the group's still got full confidence that we can play really good footy. I think for most of the game on the weekend we played really well, and there was a lot of stuff we did right. But again, it's just staying switched on for the whole game, and like I said before, when teams get a run on, we've got to be able to stand up and stop it. And I think you never want to blame injuries or guys missing out for losing, but we're still confident that we can play good footy, and then getting our big names back is just going to help that.
Is that the most disappointing loss you've been involved in at AFL level?
It'd certainly be up there, just in terms of we really set ourselves to turn our season round on Saturday night, and we were in a really good position to halfway through that third quarter, and we let it slip. And I think we saw last year when we lost to Brisbane up at the Gabba, it's these sorts of losses that come back and bite you on the backside later in the year. So it was very disappointing. I think a few of the boys didn't sleep too well Saturday night, but we'll stay positive. It's still very early in the year, and we're confident we can turn things around.
We've seen about 6 instances this year where teams have come from 6 or 7 goals down and turned the game around. Are teams approaching those sort of deficits differently, or has the game changed to the point where a 6 or 7 goal deficit is not really that much in modern footy?
No, I think a lot of teams these days have the ability to score pretty heavily really quickly. Port did it against Adelaide a couple of weeks ago and pinched the game from them as well. And I think given the leg speed that Port had on Saturday night, with a couple of the boys really caught us out a little bit. But I don't think we want to get caught up in talking about the whole leg speed saga again. It's not a big issue in our mind. But I think the way the game's played these days, if you're not switched on, like I said, for the whole quarter, teams can get a real run on real quickly and turn a game. So, look, I think we've got the ability to do that as well if we're behind. But I think our issue on the weekend was not being able to stop their run on.
You played 3 quarters without Matt Prittis, and obviously Nick Naitanui hasn't played yet this year. As a midfielder, do you think the clearance crew in particular need to be a little bit more conservative until you get your best stoppage crew going again?
To be honest with you, I think we've held up all right at stoppages the last few weeks. Obviously, losing pretty early on the weekend was a pretty tough ask, and I think we stood up pretty well. And getting Nick back's just going to be a massive bonus for us. We're still blessed to have Coxie in there, and Scotty Selwood's playing great footy. Kerry's back. Kerry's proved to be an elite clearance player, so I don't think it's a big issue for us as what a lot of people are making it out to be, but certainly getting Nick back and pretty healthy again is going to boost our chances of winning clearances.
Just when you seem to think Rosen and Wellington might to come back this week, you could lose Prittis with the concussion. Is it being tough? You lose one, you get one back, and so on. Yeah,
you want to play with a pretty stable 22, and you don't want to be changing too much, but when something like this pops up, you can't really help it. But getting Shaz and Rose back this week would obviously really boost us. And Prittis seems pretty good this morning, so I'm hoping he'll get up, and I think he should be right. But as a midfield group, I don't think there's been too much change for us this year. Rosa and Shaz have been out since before the season started, so we've been pretty lucky to have a pretty stable 4 or 5 blokes going through there.
How's Sharrett been, the last couple of weeks in the change rooms, equally awaiting his debut?
Yeah, no, he's been really excited. He's worked really hard off the track, and I think that showed in his performance on the weekend. He came back and really looked like he hasn't missed a beat, so he'll be a real welcome inclusion, and we'll back him in to have a really good impact.
Luke, have you found personally that teams have put more defensive focus on you, particularly in the first 5 rounds compared to the previous 2 seasons?
Yeah, a little bit, but it's not a big issue. I mean, poor old Gaffy out in the wing there is copping most of it this year as a 20-year-old. It's a big ask for him, but we're fully supportive of Gaffy, and it's probably not the easiest thing to come into AFL footy as a young kid playing on a wing and copping the number 1 tag every week, but he's still been playing a really important role for us, and you don't want to get too caught up in focusing on who's being run with and that sort of stuff, because there's much more in a game of footy that you really need to concentrate on.
Have you found working through your first 57 games and dealing with those types of issues, and who have you lent on to help you working through defensive tags?
It's just another great challenge that footy throws at you. Obviously Curry's been there before, and Pritter are probably the main 2 I think of, but Scotty Burns is our midfield coach, has got a really good football brain, and he really helps us through every issue that's thrown at us throughout a game. So we're lucky to have a lot of resources around us to go to.
At 1 and 4 now, what are the goals and aims of what you can achieve this year?
Well, not that we were thinking about finals from round 1, but you don't want to look too far ahead. You just got to keep on improving and keep on identifying your weaknesses in your game plan and stuff like that, and keep working hard through the week to improve it. And we're confident that we can turn it around sooner rather than later.
What do you set yourself to do in particular this week against the Bulldogs? If you could name one thing the team would be better at, what would it be, apart from the goal kicking, which is pretty obvious?
Look, like I said before, I think we're doing a lot of things right. Nothing really jumps out at me that's one individual thing that we're doing wrong. It's just a combination of a lot of different things that are going wrong once or twice in a game that are really costing us. So I think we've just got to worry about putting 4 quarters of footy together and not having a lapse in concentration. And if the Western Bulldogs do get a run on at some stage, we've just got to make sure it's not due to a lack of intensity or effort from our point of view. I don't think you can go through a whole game of footy and completely control it for 100% of the time. Other teams are going to get a run on and are going to own possession for a lot of the game, but it's how you stand up, and we just try and focus on maintaining our intensity through those periods.
Did you feel you'd lapsed against Port?
Yeah, well, I think the third quarter reflects that. I think they kicked 4 or 5 unanswered before we had a shot. So whether it's a lack of concentration, a lack of intensity, we don't know yet. But we'll review it this week, and hopefully it doesn't go wrong for us again.
Just in terms of the Bulldogs' major areas, what do you have to really shut down, clamp down on?
I think they've got a really talented midfield. Did Matty Boyd get reported from hitting Joel on the weekend? I'm not sure, but if he plays, they've got him, Liberatore, some really good inside midfielders, and obviously Cooney's back to his best, it looks like. Griffin, Dalehouse is really dangerous. They got some really good leg speed, and if our defensive pressure's not up, they'll be able to carve us up. So we've, like I said, just bring our intensity and defensive pressure, and hopefully we can counter that.